Hello everyone, Drew Wilson of Your Era Gamer here. Today I'll be traveling to the year of 2009. This is when the PlayStation 3 game Final Fantasy XIII was released. This is another entry to this long-running franchise. So, I've got 10 minutes on the clock. Let's give this game a try. And just as a quick programming note, this is the last PlayStation 3 I have in my collection, so I will be changing out the PlayStation 3 games to Xbox 360 games for the first week. So, something to look forward to there. I have a lot of games on the Xbox 360 I would love to try. So, yeah. Just thought I'd give you the heads up that that's going to be happening moving forward after this. So, yeah, Final Fantasy, I have to say, I've had some ups and downs with this series. Like, for instance, like, for the ups, like, technically Final Fantasy VI, it was named Final Fantasy III on the Super Nintendo. It was the second best game I've ever played, ever. Like, it's number 2. Worms Armageddon was number 1. But for the N64, but Final Fantasy III, I believe, was number 2, and it's the one of only 2 games I've ever had a perfect score. Now, with that said, Final Fantasy VII, a lot of people say it was so awesome. Was not a fan of it at all. So, yeah, but Final Fantasy X, I thought was actually pretty solid. Was it the best game I ever played? No, but I liked it. So, who knows? It's always been a mixed reception, honestly. Abilities. Items. Potion. There we go. So, one thing I've definitely noticed is this has definitely got a standard vibe to the overall Final Fantasy game. Like, there's the RTS... not RTS, but real-time battle system. There was a bit of a tutorial on this earlier, but I thought I'd spare you having all that text. And yeah, that has been a thing, I believe, since Final Fantasy II, possibly 1. I'm struggling to remember way back in the day when I played the original Final Fantasy. So that's always been a standard thing. Cinematics has always been a thing with this. Like, I remember Final Fantasy III, aka Final Fantasy VI, having a lot of cinematics, and Final Fantasy VII, 8, and 9, and 10. And there's always been that kind of that mishmash of sci-fi and fantasy kind of stuff. And there's always recurring characters like Chocobos. And I know the character's name is Mog for some reason. I'm struggling to remember the character with the pink ball. Completely white. I feel weird that I don't remember that, but then again, it's been a very long time since I've played these games too, so in all fairness. Okay. Inverted camera. Nah, I can handle the airplane style stuff. You possess an advanced digital journal known as a data log. So basically it's the pause menu. To peruse entries. Triangle. I would have thought start, but I guess maybe it's... So pause. Why wouldn't you stick that in the pause? That's what happened in the past. Let's see. Come on. Oh, right. Bit of a delay there. There's nothing there. Okay. Okay. Access. Sure. Save. Okay. Many and various enemies stalk the roads that you must travel. Upon entering enemy's detection radius, the mini-map is up with flash of warning. Coming into contact with an enemy will initiate a battle. This is something that I was kind of hoping that other games would have done back in the day, is actually showing the enemies on screen instead of just having random battles. And 10 was no exception. It always did that. Alright, whatever. What I find interesting is your companion does auto battle stuff. And that was a thing in Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, if I remember right. Just gotta remember inverted stuff. Okay.
What do you suppose this is? The army leaving its toys out now?
Well, I apparently can't do anything about that. What is the X? I'm guessing that's a battle. So this is the triangle stuff that was mentioned earlier. So status. That's not actually a lot. I'm kind of surprised by that. Like, I would think there's experience points to next level, that sort of thing. And equipment. Well, that makes... These being divided up makes more sense, at least. So you do have maps, and that's about it. Okay. It's very curious, actually. I was kind of expecting more. So that was automatically a thing. I wonder if you can sneak up on enemies. Be a bit like Earthbound. There we go. So you do get ratings for what it's worth. Sure. Okay, so you get a change in position. Which is interesting. Kind of curious to see how that ends up playing out. Initiative bonus. I wonder how I can get a better initiative bonus.
This place is a war zone.
Is that a mover? Okay, so I guess that's a treasure thing. It's weird what I remember and what I don't remember, I have to say. And we are into the next cutscene.
Not wanting to get purged, I get. But taking on trained soldiers?
Better to die than get sent to Pulse. It's hell for Brimstone.
Okay.
Yeah, well, hell's not sounding too bad. Because this place ain't exactly paradise.
I have to pause that now, so... Definitely interesting so far. There's a lot of familiar elements in this game, for sure. Like the countdown to how whenever you actually initiate an action. The stacking was interesting. There you can stack multiple commands. I think that's new. Either that or it was introduced somewhere around 11 or 12, Final Fantasy 11 or 12. I haven't played those two games because I know it wasn't a thing in 10 that I can recall anyway. So that's an interesting feature. I'm kind of curious to see how different, like how magic is actually used in this game, which obviously I didn't see much of, although I did see a staff at one point, so I assumed that there's going to be something related to magic. I don't know. Yeah, and it's also so far fairly linear. It's always difficult early on in the game, especially when you're not sure whether or not a game actually has a very linear path or not, when you don't know for sure, and it's like, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, I don't know. Because there's a lot of games out there, take for instance Just Cause. Some of the introductory sections are very linear, but only to keep things from being too complex for the user right away. So I'm kind of curious to see if this linear nature of the game ends up getting better over time, if there's like multiple paths and places to explore and that sort of thing. So I'm kind of curious about that aspect as well. So yeah. Anyway, enough about me droning on and on about these things. I actually wanted to hear from you. What are your thoughts on this particular game, Final Fantasy XIII? For those of you who have played this game, for those of you who have played this game, what are your thoughts on this one? Was this a really cool entry? Did you really enjoy it, or maybe this was forgettable? Because honestly, I don't hear people talking about this game very much, honestly. So I don't know if it means it's forgettable or if there's people are too distracted. I don't know. But yeah, any thoughts at all? Let me know in the comments below. For those of you who haven't played Final Fantasy XIII but have played other games in the series, what are your thoughts on this one? Does this look like kind of an interesting game to you? It's something that you might be interested in checking out, or maybe this is just a dime a dozen. I think there's like, what, 15, not 15, 20? I can't remember. There's a lot of entries to this series already, so yeah, you got plenty to pick from for the most part. Some of them are dead MMOs, but most of them are available to play. So if you have any thoughts on that front, let me know in the comments as well. And for those of you who haven't played any of the Final Fantasy games at all, what'd you think of this so far? Does this look like kind of an interesting game to check out? Like, it has the somewhat more realistic looking graphics compared to, say, the 2-bit pixel stuff, for instance. Maybe you'd be interested in checking out a game that sort of has that turn-based element to it, or maybe it feels awkward. Maybe it looks like something that doesn't really work all that well. Anyway, if you have any thoughts on that front, definitely let me know in the comments below as well. Anyway, I guess that is all for now, and until next time, what is your era?